Welcome to the DivaDeets, the ultimate podcast for women over 40 who are ready to take control of their health, ditch the diets, and lose weight for good. I am your host and coach, Danya Powers, and today we're going to talk about something that hits home for so many of us, and that is self-sabotage. Have you ever just been on a roll, making progress, and then suddenly something inside of you just holds you back? You don't even know where it's come from. But you've started losing weight, and then you find yourself back in old habits, and you're sitting there like, why am I doing this? You just don't even understand it. This episode's about stopping your own sabotage and stopping the sabotage of your progress, and why that mindset is everything when it comes to lasting change. So buckle up and let's get rolling. So self-sabotage is like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. If you are, I'm sure you've been there. I'm like trying to get down the road and I'm like, I don't know what's going on or why my car won't move. And then like at some point you go through all of the thoughts in the brain. It's like, well, maybe my parking brake's on. You know what I mean? The one time that you put it on, you still forgot about it. But you're working hard. It's like your weight loss. You have all these things going for you. And you're pushing the gas pedal and nothing is happening. You're not going anywhere because you have something inside you holding you back. You really do have that same parking brake on inside of you. It's like your own brain is playing tricks on you. Like, hey, you're not doing this. Mm-hmm. That's not really going to happen to you. You know, you always feel, you have those little things happening inside of your mind. And the biggest thing that I found for myself is the reasons I self-sabotage are fear of success. The fear of success holds with it a great weight. Will I be able to sustain this? Am I going to be able to serve the people in my life that need to be served? Am I going to be a good coach? That was a big one that I walked through with coaching as well, not just weight loss, but with your career, with your finances, with your family. But that fear of success is, am I going to be able to keep the weight off this time? It didn't work last time, so I don't know why would it even work this time, and it makes you afraid to try things. The fear of success has a lot of weight attached to it because sometimes you've done especially really hard diets in the past that you have gained all of your weight back from. And because of that, you don't necessarily want to try it again because that fear of success has that hard value attached to it. And so one of those things that has helped me through that is just recognizing that I'm not actually afraid of failing. I'm afraid of succeeding. So fear of success is a big one. Fear of failure is part of that. Fear of failure and fear of success are very closely intertwined because you are afraid that you fail again. But part of that is, if I do succeed, can I keep doing this? Can I sustain this? So just kind of keep that in mind, that you're not alone if you feel a fear of success. Imposter syndrome is something that I've walked through so many times, you would think I would still recognize it. One of the things my coach says is new levels, new devils. And that is so true because every single time that you step into a new level of yourself, whether that's on a weight loss journey or whether that's a financial goal or a career goal, you run into new obstacles. You run into new parking brakes. And that is that new version of yourself. And that is, I'm not worthy of this success. I'm not worthy of this. I'm not worthy of, losing weight. I've not done it in the past. Am I going to be able to do it again? Is this who I really am? To tell you how many times I've walked through imposter syndrome, it would be almost embarrassing because it's been so many times. Every single time I have 2 steps forward, I always have 1 step back. Always. And a lot of it is because of imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is this who I really am? And is this really me? When you look back in the mirror and you start to see a different body looking back at you, there's a lot of fear attached to that because is this who I really am? Do I like who I'm becoming? Because there was comfort in the bigger person, right? The curvier person, that person, I know that person really well. So this new person, who am I becoming? And that part is really terrifying. It really is. That is something I understand really, really well. And then honestly, just old habits and comfort zones are just really, really hard to break. They just really are hard to break because the link between past trauma and current behaviors, those are all just really attached to who you identify as a person. So we're going to walk through all of that today, and hopefully we can get you past your self-sabotage if you're walking through it. I mean, if you're walking through it, you're not alone. Truly, I want to make sure that you know that because even Coach D walks through that pretty often. So signs of self-sabotage are overeating, a trigger of an emotional binge when you're doing great. It's not when you're doing bad. It's when you're doing great. That emotional binge, that just, why am I doing this? This doesn't even taste good. Why am I doing this? And so that is one of the signs that you've already started a self-sabotage. So not sticking to your plan is another one. Not sticking to your plan. Why? Why would you do that? You know what works. You know that this works. You know this works well, but you're just not sticking to it. Even when you know that you have already made that promise to yourself. It's like you're breaking promises to yourself. And that part is a really big sign that you are starting to self-sabotage, that you're starting to try to press go, but you have that parking brake on. The other thing is procrastination. You put everything off until the right time. And when you put everything off until the right time, that right time is never going to show up. It's never going to be there. Why? Because the right time is now. When it's the right time, it's like right now. Like now. It was like now. It's still now. You just have to start. Your next decision is the right time. It really is. But it's hard to get there if you are always finding yourself within those signs of sabotage. So let's talk about mindset, because there's a lot of power in your mindset. And that's really important to keep in mind. Your mindset is a lot like your GPS. The GPS in your car, if you have it programmed for the wrong destination, who has done that before? I've totally done that before, where it's like, I know this is not the hospital because this is a 7-Eleven in the middle of nowhere. Like, how did I get here? You have programmed the wrong destination without even realizing it, because maybe it was Lincoln Avenue and you put Lincoln Road and you ended up somewhere completely different, right? So that mindset, no matter how hard you try, if you have it set for the wrong destination, you are going to end up in the wrong place, okay? So you have to set your mindset, your GPS, your very own guide, to the right location, and you will get there step by step. You really will. Because there's a lot of science in the mindset, okay? Your brain is wired to protect you, always. It will always be wired to protect you. We've talked about it, being a survival machine. It is for everything, including your precious mind. It's going to protect you from change. You've heard of the inner child. Hopefully, if you haven't, go look that up. Your inner child is going to protect you from change, from failure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what's going to happen in your mind. And this is why we're prone to negative self-talk. And we're going to talk about how to rewire that today, okay? The concept of growth versus fixed mindset is important to dip into today as well. And we're going to talk about how to shift that growth mindset to set you up for success. So how do we change this? How do we fix it? We replace our negative thoughts with positive affirmations. So I'm a big fan of affirmations, and I'll tell you why. Because I was double dared, and that was pretty much how that went down. I was double dared to do some positive affirmations for 21 days to see if my life changed. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was so doubtful and so skeptical and eye-rolling about it, but I made a commitment and I wasn't going to back down from it. And I will tell you 100%, 21 days of affirmations every single day without fail changed my life. Simple affirmations is where we're going to start today. And the biggest one that you're going to start saying is when I never succeed. If you hear yourself say these things, we can undo it immediately with the right affirmation. So if you say, nothing ever works for me, nothing ever goes my way, nothing ever works for me, you're going to say, I am worthy of success. And that's what you're going to say. So if you find yourself with that negative self-talk, we have to immediately just undo it. You can't beat yourself up for it. It's the reality that you're in right now. We're going to retrain. We're just going to poke that GPS and put the correct address in. And so instead of saying nothing ever works for me, we're going to say, I am worthy of my success. I can achieve my goals. And that's something I want you to write down. I want you to write down and keep that with you. So no matter what self-talk comes at you out of your mouth and out of your mind that is negative, you're going to redirect that with the proper address of I am worthy of success and I can achieve my goals. Those two things were life-changing for me. The other two affirmations that I put in mine every single day were I am competent and I am calm. Why do you think I said that? Because I constantly was saying things like, Danya, you're so stupid. Have you ever said that to yourself? Danya, you're so crazy. So I said the opposite. So whatever it is that you say to yourself, your truth is actually the opposite of that. You just have to choose to get to that GPS. You just have to choose that location. Now listen, I'm going to give you the same challenge. Try saying your affirmations for 21 days. And so when I say them, that means every single time something negative comes out of your mouth needs to come the opposite to speak the life out of that death that you just spoke over yourself. So every time that you speak a negative something over yourself, you are actually speaking death. We did an experiment once, and I'm a huge fan of this experiment. If you ever get a chance to do this with your kids, it's very eye-opening. We did, in my dining room upstairs, actually here at this location, we bought 2 apples, 2 organic apples, same brand, same type, same everything, and we put them in clear containers. We cut them in half and put them in clear containers. Around each container, I put the words that you could whisper over the apple. So one of them had positive affirmations, one of them had negative affirmations. The apple that had the positive affirmations were, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are worthy, you are kind, you are wanted. Those are the things that we spoke over that apple. The bad apple, you are stupid, you are ugly, nobody wants you, nobody likes you. What happened with the apples was just amazing to me. And that was that the good apple, the apple that we spoke the good affirmations over, lived for 6 weeks, cut in half. The apple that we spoke bad things over lived for 3 days. Same apple, same temperature, same light. The only thing we spoke over it was words. There was a book that I read once called Ice. I think it's either called Ice or it has ice in the title. But it was this scientist that he did the studies on water, basically. And water, when you speak negative things over water and then you freeze it, it freezes jagged. It freezes broken inside. When you speak positive things, same freezer, same water, same situation, it freezes in very orderly and beautiful formations. And so it's amazing to know how much power is in our words. Here's my other part of that. Our bodies are made of 75% water. So whether you're oovy groovy or not, you have to know that the science behind that is the words that you speak of yourself hold a tremendous amount of power. So what are you going to do? Are you going to speak death or are you going to speak life? And it's really important that you learn how to replace your negative thoughts or negative words with positive affirmations. So if you do say something negative, no shame in this. Turn it around. Be responsible. We are grown-ass women. Put on your big girl panties and say something good about yourself. Not only that, your people watch you. Your partner watches you. Your family watches you. Your other leaders watch you. Your workers, your coworkers, your employees, they watch you. You're teaching them how to behave. And I'm calling upon you to be that leader that does better. Do better because you are worthy of that. Here's the other part of that. You focus on progress, not perfection. And that's really important. We talk about that so much, but I can't emphasize that enough. Small wins make big impacts. So if you will focus on and celebrate all the small wins, it's going to lead to big results. Why? Because what gets celebrated gets repeated. If you are constantly focused on the negative, that is what's going to continually get repeated. If you turn around and find just a little small win, that's going to get repeated. And that compounded over time makes a big result happen for you. And that goes for a weight loss journey or anything else that's happening in your life. The other thing is surround yourself with positive influences, positive people that lift you up. It is okay to exit people from your world. I didn't realize how much I had done that until something happened in my life recently, which I'm not willing to share on this podcast. But if you have a huge life change and you're starting to go in a different direction, a lot of that's because you realize the people that you were hanging with were not necessarily the most positive influence in your life. So we basically become the average of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with. That's what John Maxwell taught me. So if you are the top of that, if you are the most successful person, then you are hanging around with the wrong people. The people that you hang around should be people that stretch you, especially in regard to your fitness journey. Especially in regard to your fitness journey. If you are hanging out with sloven, lazy people that are not willing to change, you are also going to fall into that category. You'll become the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with the most. So be smart about that. Make sure that you are surrounding yourself with positive influences and people that really, really uplift you. Breaking free from self-sabotage is kind of like riding a bike. We're doing a lot of analogies today, but I like visuals. So if you are learning how to ride a bike, we were at the park recently and witnessed a daddy teaching his daughter how to ride the bike. And first of all, the little girl had just had it. She was like, "Daddy, you are so stupid." And she was done with this bike ride. And he was like, "Get back up on the bike. Get back up on the bike now." And I was like, good for him. Good for him, because she has to know that it's not easy. Life is just not easy. You do have to get back up because you're going to fall off. But the more you practice, what happens? The more he makes her get up there. And my husband and I were walking 3 days later, same park, watching this little girl just zip around without her daddy holding on to her in 3 days, but he had made her, and he was so frustrated. To the point that both my husband, David, and I walked up to him and we were like, good job, Dad. Way to hang in there, because you know that she's going to love that so much, because both of us were bike riders. So a lot of kids don't know how to ride bikes nowadays, which I think is crazy. But the bike was our freedom. The bike, getting on our bike and riding, that was such a freedom thing for Gen Xers. And so we loved the bicycle, right? So we told him that. And then he came up to us. He actually ran up to us on that third day, and he knocked on the window. My husband rolled down the window, and he was like, yeah, man, what's up? And he was like, I just wanted to tell you thank you, because I was so ready to quit. And he said, when you encouraged me to keep doing it, because sometimes we need each other. So we became the average that God brought him in that moment to keep pressing on and keep leaning in, right? So when you are on a weight loss journey, it's a lot like riding the bike. You are going to fail. It's a matter of what you do next. It's a matter, do you get back up on the bike? It gets easier to stay on track. It gets easier to pedal. It takes consistency, and it takes patience, but it takes adaptable consistency. You fall down, you get back up. You scrape your knee, put a Band-Aid on it, you get back up. You can do this. You really can do this. So the steps to breaking the cycle, and this is true for everything in your life. So if you can master these, you're going to be able to probably get away with a lot and get a lot done in your life, not just weight loss. This is Success Principles 101. When you are self-sabotaging, identify your triggers. What are they? What are your triggers? Is it stress? Is it fear? Is it boredom? Boredom is mine. My fear of being bored, my need to be productive, leads me to eating food. It really does, because this feels productive for whatever reason. For me, maybe that's just me. Recognize what triggers it. And boredom triggers mine. Anxiety triggers mine. Stress can trigger mine. Stress, I have a tendency to not eat, which also leads to binging later. So that's not even helpful, right? What is yours? And that trigger, identifying it, recognizing it, and being able to sit back and be like, this is a trigger. So this is my first step to breaking free. And that's really important to understand, that everybody has triggers. What are yours? Do you know what they are? And can you promise yourself to take the time to identify what they are? Because that is going to be life-changing for you if you can just identify the triggers. Start small. If you've been avoiding something for a while, I want you to break it down into tiny steps. Celebrate every small step along the way, because what did we learn earlier? What gets celebrated gets repeated. So we are going to celebrate those little wins like crazy. If you celebrate every win along the way, you end up looking back at this beautiful journey. And it's a big difference than if you focused on everything negative, right? You don't accidentally fall into true weight loss that's sustainable. You can accidentally lose weight through illness and whatever, but as far as like having a plan and making it happen, you have to be very purposeful. You have to choose to ride that bicycle. You have to get back up every single time. The biggest thing I could probably pass on to you is be kind to yourself. That is where affirmations come in really handy, because you are somebody, you can either be your best friend or your worst enemy, and you choose that. You really do. You're stuck with yourself for the whole rest of your life. So don't beat yourself up when you slip. Have that talk you would have with your best friend. Dude, I know you screwed up, but you know what? Our next decision is the one that matters. It's all done, because what has happened in the past, you cannot change it. So by sitting here dwelling on it, we have our parking brake on. By sitting here dwelling on it, we are self-sabotaging. We can't change it. It's done. You have to learn how to let go of those things, because, progress is messy. Focus on moving forward. Focus on moving forward. The other thing that the Divas really offer as a group is telling someone about your goals, that accountability, making sure that you are sharing your progress, but don't share it with somebody that's going to tear you down. Be smart about who you talk to. I think the Bible tells us not to throw pearls to swine. That means you don't take the good things that are happening in your life, your wins, and take them to negative people, because they're just going to tear that down. And you need somebody that's going to be like, that is a big win. That is who I am for my Divas. That is who I am for my clients. And so make sure that you tell someone your goals. Share that progress, and just having that someone to check in that can keep you motivated. Maybe that's a parent. Maybe that's a coach like me. Maybe that's a best friend. But do not share that progress with somebody that's going to take you the other direction. So this is what I want to know from you, and this is what I want to hear back from you, the feedback. What are you doing to self-sabotage? Can you identify it? And we want to take one small step to change that today, whether it's just reaching for healthier food, whether it's taking a walk, whether it's identifying your triggers, or just, just being active instead of staying on the couch. You've got this. We've got this together. So remember that mindset is everything. You can change your thoughts. You can change your actions. And by doing that, you'll change your results. And that's what we want. At the end of the day, that's what I want to hear from you, is that this has helped you in that way. Don't let self-sabotage hold you back from the success that you deserve. You deserve to be successful. So I want you to stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas. Thanks for tuning into this latest episode of the DivaDeets. If this helped you and you found it valuable, share it with a friend who needs to hear it. Ready for more support? Join my free Facebook community or join my coaching community. The details are in the show notes. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay strong, stay consistent, and stay fabulous, my divas.